Hello, and welcome to All the Tanks Tank Review, with me, the most everyone, aka MrSuryt. Today we are looking at the American T1 heavy tank. This guy here, absolute beast, not because he's fantastic at killing, or surviving for that matter, but because this guy is absolutely massive. And that this tank here, it's a World War II era tank, however it never participated in any battles in World War II. When World War II started, the US, they were kind of unprepared. They did not have much in the way of heavy armour. So they had been keeping a bit of a lookout at what the Europeans were doing though, so they had an idea of what they wanted. They started researching a heavy tank. That's where this guy comes in. Now this guy was based on 1920s tank design in Europe. And he was they started this guy, researching him, in the 1940s. By the time they had this thing ready to be built, it was obsolete. They did build a few of them. There's about 40, 44, there was a fair few built of various variants. The M6 is actually a variant. This here is the prototype, the T1. But yeah, they never left US soil. They did, I guess they did participate in the war. They were used on American soil to promote the US and to boost morale. They used these guys to crush cars and just little demonstrations all over the country. That was about the only action they seen. Today there is only one of them left of all the variants, including the M6, and that is a T1 Heavy, which is in a US military museum. Can't remember which one, but yeah, it's the only one left. So let's have a little look at where this guy falls in the tech tree. Now he is a tier 5. We don't want the English. There we go. Tier 5. He's down the bottom here. He does lead into the M6. And to get to him, you need the dreaded M3 Lee. Now you can go around the M6 and the T1 Heavy up through the Sherman, the M4 Sherman, and the Jumbo, the Sherman Jumbo, and get straight to the T29. A lot of people do this. A lot of people do skip the T1 Heavy in the M6. T29 is a fantastic tank. That there is a beast. The M4 Sherman is a great medium tank. The Jumbo, well, some people like it, some people don't. More people like it than like the T1 Heavy though. And nobody likes the M3 Lee. Yeah, so you don't have to go down the T1 Heavy. I would recommend it though. This used to be one of the lowest tier heavies in the game, tier 5. It isn't anymore. There are tier 4. Germans, for example, they've got the tier 4. The Wagon 2. We're going to call it the DW2. Yeah, that's only tier 4, leading into the VK3001H, which used to be a medium tank, is now a heavy tank. French, they've got the B1, which is, I do have one of those, a bit of a joke, to be honest. I had the T1 Heavy before I had this guy. So there are other lower tier heavies now, which makes the T1 Heavy look a little bit better. It also, a lot of people did not like it for its armour. The side and rear armour is virtually non-existent. We'll get into it a bit more in a little bit. But you've got other tanks now like the VK3001, which also has pretty average side armour and pretty average or below average front armour. And it's tier 5 as well, which makes the T1 Heavy look quite good. And to be honest, it's not a bad tank. Have a look at the tech tree. The very first thing you are going to get is going to be the tracks. You must get the tracks first. There is no option here without those tracks. First of all, you're not going to be spinning and turning and moving all that well at all. Standard tracks only have 20 traverse speed, 20 degrees per second. The upgraded's 25 degrees per second, which isn't too bad. Not too bad at all, but the main reason you want this is the load limit. You can't put anything else on this tank until you get the upgraded tracks. Now, 25 traverse speed sounds pretty average, but if we look at some of those other ones like the VK3001H, this guy here with the upgraded traverse speed 22. Yeah. The French, the BDRG1, the tank that I'm looking forward to grinding through. Now this guy here has a traverse speed of 24. Oh, wrong one. Chinese, what do they get? They got the KV1, a fantastic tank. Great tank this one here, and it has a traverse speed of 20. Yeah, 20. Standard. Stock is 18. The English. Where's the... There we go, the Churchill 1. With upgraded traverse speed of 22. And finally, the Chinese, well, they don't have a heavy line so early on. First you get is the IS-2. The IS-2 has traverse speed of 38, but of course that there is a little bit higher tier. So at first you might be thinking traverse speed not great. No, that's not true. The traverse speed, it is the best traverse speed of the tier 5 heavy tanks. Once you get this here, the next thing I would recommend getting is going to be the turret. Now the upgraded turret doesn't look a great deal better. It has the same armour as the stock, 102 front, 83 sides, 83 rear. That's actually quite good. It's the best armour on this tank is the turret, which is often the case with tanks, and it is quite good armour. The stock has 31 traverse speed and 320 view range. The upgraded, you lose 1 degree of traverse speed, it knocks it down to 30. You get the view range of 330, which is not fantastic. Not fantastic at all. The biggest thing you get out of this turret though, if we just go to the stock, we just go to the... Oh, incompatible gun. Let's change the gun. Go to the stock. 600 hit points. The upgraded, you get 660. So you get an extra 60 hit points with the upgraded turret. Looking at the size of it, much of a muchness in the size. Excuse me. You do lose this little commander's / machine gun hatch up the top here though, with the upgraded turret. Well, you don't lose it, but it's no longer the weak point that it once was. Yep, there we go. Whilst I remember, we'll have a quick little look at the VK3001. Now this guy has a traverse speed of 24 for the turret. 24. Yeah. Oh, where are we? So we go back to the T1 Heavy. 30's not looking too bad, is it? Let's go to everyone's favourite, the KV1. This thing here is definitely overrepresented. Everyone's playing this to get to the KV1S. 24 traverse speed. Let's have a look at that BDR G1B and the upgraded turret. Traverse speed of 26. Excuse me, a bit of a frog in my throat today. The Churchill, 34. So it's the second at tier heavy tank for traverse speed for the turret. So not too bad at all. The Churchill's turret is a little bit weaker frontally and at rear. A little bit more on the sides though. So that traverse speed, it's actually quite good. Now, the next thing you're going to want after the turret is the gun. Definitely want to upgrade the gun. The stock gun isn't a terrible gun. It's only available on the T1 Heavy and the M6. Has an okay rate of fire, 13.95 rounds per second. Average penetration is only 101. And your average damage is only 110. Well, the penetration at this level's not bad at all. The average damage, however... yeah. Not much more to say about that. The accuracy of 0.46 is also terrible. Aiming time's not too bad at 2.3. It's not great, it's average. It's average. And 1.7 would be great. 2.7 would be terrible. So, it's not a bad gun, it's not going to excel at anything. The upgraded, you get a fair bit more penetration there, 128. Still not a derp gun, with its 115 average damage, but it's better than nothing. Better than nothing, 128. At this penetration, 115 damage. You will be coming up against tier 3s, which makes it useful. Higher tier, a little less useful. It really is a medium gun, to be honest, and there you go, it is available on the M4 Sherman. It's available on a lot of tanks. It's the M4 Sherman tank gun, this one. It's got a fantastic rate of fire though, 16.67. Accuracy is marginally improved on the stock at 0.43 accuracy. Still not great, but thankfully the aiming reticule isn't too big. If you give it time to find its range, you don't have to wait fully. It's not too bad. And aiming time is the same as the stock. So you're going to want to upgrade that. This thing here is used on the M6. So, right there. You may as well unlock it on the T1 Heavy. The next, you're looking at your engines. This thing with the stock of 700 horsepower. It's a very heavy tank, over 61 tons fully weighed down, which means this 700 engine horsepower, 700 horsepower engine, that's the word, that's the weight. It's not great. You are going to be quite slow at getting around until you upgrade. However, once you do fully upgrade, I haven't got the fully upgraded engine yet. 960 horsepower for the top engine and 825 for the middle engine upgrade there. This thing does move. The T1 Heavy does move quite fast, and you do have decent acceleration once you upgrade your engine. So you definitely want to upgrade. And on this one here, you do not need to get this top upgrade, engine upgrade, the Wright G200M781C9GC1 engine. However, I would recommend you get it because it is also used on the M6. So if you unlock it, it's expensive, 15,100 experience to unlock it. But if you do, you'll be able to use it on the M6. And the one last thing to look at is the radio, which I do not have equipped. Let's change that guy over. Actually, we'll have a look. The stock radio, signal range 395, upgrade 480. That's pretty average. It's not flash. Will probably be the French, the BDR G1B. Their top is 710. 360 for their middle of the range, and a pathetic 290. But the top tier radio for the French is actually a tier 9 radio. So yeah, you're not going to be as good as the French with your radio signal. Look at the VK3001H, their top 710 as well. But you would kind of expect that from the Germans and the French. You go to the Russians and you look at the KV1, Now don't laugh. Their top radio, 440. 360 for the standard. Yeah. The Russians, they're not known for their signal range. And then you've got the English Churchill 1 at 550. So it's not great, but it's not terrible. It's a radio. Oop. Rightio. Let's have a look at a few more of the stats. The weight. This is a very heavy tank. 61.5 tons fully loaded. Mine's at 58.62. I haven't got much. Well, I've got nothing. None of the modules added. So you can get it up a little bit more. Weight. At this tier, it's quite a heavy tank. If you have the chance to ram, there's no reason not to. In fact, I have had friendly light tanks run into me and damage themselves doing nothing to myself. I have had it happen. Yeah, whilst I'm just stationary. So this thing does weigh a fair bit. Good for ramming. You do get a decent speed for a heavy tank, and it will reach it on flat. Going downhill, I've had this thing over 40, believe it or not. The turret, we've already looked at the armour on the turret. It's actually not too bad at all. 102 front and 83 sides and rear. It is your strong point. You do also have this gun mantle here. So there's no... Well, there is weak points, of course, up the top here. But you'd be silly to be aiming for those. The sides, these points here around the side of the gun mantle, they're angled. There's no point. Don't aim for them. The turret is quite a good turret. The hull, however, it's a different story. Now this here is the reason why a lot of people tried to avoid this heavy tank. A lot of people didn't think that it acted like a heavy tank with the kind of armour it had sides and rear. The front is 83, this part here, which isn't terrible, but the side, 44, rear, 41, it's not armoured. Just about anything is going to penetrate you. You do have nice big tracks to eat up a lot of the shots, but this area here is very large. Don't aim for the side of the turret. You can get a flat point there, but that's 83. This here is an even bigger target and is only 44. Yeah, so aim for this part here if you can, the side, or the rear of course. The side does have one advantage over the rear, aiming for. Under the turret here is the ammo rack. So if you can hit into the side around here, there's a good chance you're going to ammo rack this tank. And I have had a lot of ammo racks, and I have ammo racked a lot of T1 heavies. The front, this here is your strong, it is the only strong armour. This lower, doesn't really have a lower glacis. It's kind of, well, I guess it's the bottom part here, the bottom glacis. It is quite rounded, so it does bounce a lot of shots. Probably not the smartest spot to aim. Better spot would be this part up here, and that is because it is reasonably flat. It's got a bit of a slope, but not much. A little bit of extra armour around the place here, but for the most part this here is where you're going to aim. It does have one weak point on the front, and that's these these cheeks, I guess you'd call them. They have a little bit of angle to them, so you might think, yeah, don't aim for them, aim for, you know, around this area. But the M3, no, that's very bad tank. The T1 Heavy, in order to ricochet shots, you're going to be angling it. And the recommended, because your side is so weak, the recommended angle probably no more than this. You don't want to go too much more, give it too much more angle than about maybe 10-15 degrees. You don't want them to get a shot on the sides here. The problem is, as soon as you do that, coming around a corner angling, these cheeks they flatten out. They become a perfect shot. So these cheeks, if you're facing a T1 heavy and he's angling the armour and you've got okay accuracy, these two spots here be where you'd aim. That's also something you need to worry about when you are in this tank. Thankfully the tracks will eat a lot of your damage, a lot of your shots. Alright, let's move on. What else? Well, we've had a quick little look at the signal range. The view range is also quite poor, 330. Yeah, not the greatest issue, hopefully, because you're going to be in the thick of it. You're going to be leading the charge, and you're going to have a lot of people around you protecting your flanks. Hopefully, that's the plan, whether or not it happens. The view range, you're going to be relying on your allies for that one. The modules. Now, I've just got your standard repair kit, first aid, and manual fire extinguisher. Close you. For these modules here, I don't have anything mounted. I'll have a look at them. I haven't got anything mounted because it's very expensive. A lot of things worth mounting on this tank cost more than the tank itself. Camouflage. No, don't bother. What are you going to do? Camouflage this as a barn? It's too big. No, I'm just a house. There's no real point with the camouflage net, unless you've got one lying around. The wet ammo rack, 50% ammo rack durability. It's not terrible because everybody knows to hit in the side here underneath the turret. Not a terrible idea. Medium caliber tank gun rammer. Now this is going to increase your loading time, which is never a bad thing. One thing to remember though, the medium caliber tank gun rammer is a medium caliber tank gun rammer, which means later on down the track, you're not going to use it. It's not a large, it's a medium. You get my point. If you've got a few medium tanks and you're not worried about using a little bit of gold, might be worth putting it on there. You can always take it off and put it on other tanks down the track. The binoculars and the coated optics, I'd probably say no, don't waste your time. You don't have great view range to begin with. You might want to increase that. Very expensive, 500,000. You're not going to be stationary too much, hopefully. Only time you are is when things are shooting at you. So, yeah, not really worth it, I'd say. Stick with your allies finding targets for you. The enhanced gun laying drive, 10% to aiming time, that's not a bad idea. You do have pretty poor aiming speed, so that's not too bad, still very expensive. Enhanced vertical coil springs, 3 class, 10% to suspension load capacity, 20% to suspension durability, and 50% to hull damage caused by suspension damage during the impact, or minus 50. Nah, don't bother. The heavy small liner, 30% to armor protection from ramming, 30% protection from crew injuries. You're pretty heavy, you're going to be one of the heaviest tanks out there, so you don't really need something like that. The next two though, if you're going to keep this tank, or you're going to be taking them off and putting them on other tanks, both not bad choices at all. The toolbox, 500,000, so a lot of people will only have one of these and just move it around with the tank that they're using. 25% to repair speed. You're going to lose your tracks a lot in this tank. So toolbox plus 25% repair speed, definitely worth it. The improved ventilation class 3 plus 5% to all crew skills. Ventilation, if you're in a tank that can use it, you pretty much use it. Very expensive. This tank itself only costs 435,000. So you may not want to. If you're willing to spend a bit of gold to move it around, then maybe. Have a look at the crew. Now we get a very large crew with this tank. I've been moving most of these up with previous tanks, Now this is the first heavy tank in the line, so really it was kind of silly moving it from a medium tank to a heavy, but I did just because I had no use for them. There's a couple that were new though. Your commander, let's have a look at him. I've only got him at 75%. Haven't got them at 100% yet, so I don't have any skills myself. Repair's a great one. Repair's probably something that you're going to want on all of your crew eventually. Mentor provides additional experience to all crew members except the commander. Also not a bad one. These are pretty standard. Repair is probably more important on this tank than most though, just because you do have your tracks blown off a fair bit. Look, a lot of these are perks, not really worth it. Sixth Sense, you don't have great view range, so that could come in handy when they're looking at you and you've got no idea. But yeah, probably your repairs and mentor. The gunner. Now this tank here, it's got two gunners. So you can be a bit creative with this. And again, repairs is a good one. Brothers in Arms, cumulative with effective improved ventilation, extra combat, blah blah blah. What else? Designated target. No, not really. Armor improved accuracy of a damaged gun. My gun is damaged a lot. A lot of people aim for it. It does go down very often. So armor, maybe. Deadeye increases the chance to cause damage to enemy vehicle modules and crew. Not a bad one. Snapshot. Improve accuracy during turret rotation. Also not a bad one. I'll probably end up going with repair myself. But there's a couple down here you may be looking at. You do have two gunners, so you can be a little bit creative there. Your driver. Well, your driver, again, repairs. Controlled impact, decreased ramming damage to your vehicle. I don't ram as often as I should in this tank, I just don't quite have the speed to do it. It's a fast tank, but just not quite fast enough to catch people out. Off-road driving, reduces ground resistance when driving on soft and moderate soft terrain. Not too bad. You do want to get across those areas into cover as quick as possible. Smooth ride, improves accuracy when firing on the move. Also not a bad one. Preventative maintenance, reduces the chance of engine fire by preventing gas or oil leak in the engine compartment. I've actually, maybe, no, I can't remember having the engine set on fire. Of course it's going to happen, but I haven't had it happen yet. Increase vehicle rotation speed. That would be nice, because you do want to get, your rear end around as fast as possible. You want to get it angled and in cover. Radio operator, should we waste our time looking at them? Get repair. Situational awareness, no. Call of vengeance, enable radio operator, no. Signal boosting, extra signal range, that's not bad, not bad. Relaying, extends signal range of allied communications. So, maybe, but again, you're going to lose your tracks a lot. And finally, the loader. Create a chance that the loader will promptly switch between shell types. It's a perk. Adrenaline Rush. Accelerates gun loading if the vehicle has less than 10% of its hit points. It's a perk. It's not terrible. Do on occasion get down. My health get down, and there is those shots that you want to take. Safe storage. Increases ammo rack durability. Again, that might not be a bad one as well. Just again because of that ammo rack that everyone seems to aim around this area. You get ammo racked quite often. Alright, so let's look at the crew. Next, we're going to see how this thing goes. So we'll have a little play around with it. I think I've got one replay ready to go for you. So let's get into the game. And here we are. We are on Runeberg in an encounter battle. Matchup is not terrible. We have 3 heavies on our side, 2 KV1s and myself, T1 heavy. And we have a Churchill, a KV1 and a T14, premium T14 tank. Then you got a various number of mediums, tank destroyers and lights. There is artillery, tier 4, not too concerned about artillery. We're probably going to be going into the city, therefore artillery is a little bit useless. Not useless, but less useful. I did have XVM working for this replay. Stopped working, so you just have to believe me, this was a 54% chance of winning. I've lost on 85% chance of winning, so that doesn't make a great deal of difference. Just a colourful little show, really. But anyway, let's get underway. We will, of course, be heading into the city over here. Wait for the countdown. Yeah, the standard play is for the heavies to come over here, supported by a few mediums and tank destroyers, and a couple will go along this way here, along the naught line. Usually meet around here. Things are going to go a little bit different in this game though. Lock it back in. You're going to see right off the bat, Crusader there takes a shot as he's leaving cap for no reason whatsoever, and he hits our M4. Hit our M4, knocked him down at 12% health already. What a turnip head that guy is, seriously. Then you look at what they're doing. Everyone on the team, with exception to artillery and us 3 heavies and an M7, have all rushed right down the middle there. Straight down at the enemy. They have found the enemy. They've found the enemy as they're leaving their spawn. They haven't got all of them, but they've just about got all of them. They're all out in the open, getting killed. 2 dead already. Not even a minute in, we've lost 2 tanks. Unbelievable. We finally killed one of them. Tier 3 tank destroyer. We come to my favourite spot on this map, right on the edge here. Now I'm going to angle to get around this corner. I want to try to angle. I can see that there's people over there, just over this way. So I want to angle to them, but we've also had, right here, these 2 here pop up. That's a Panzer III-4 that I've just hit. Took a shot at me. Thankfully, he hit our buddy over here in the KV1 as he went past. He took a shot for me. Very kind of him. I'll give one back to him. Now I am quite worried about this Stug. Just over here we've got a Stug on 73%. Not too worried about all these others that are a mile off. This T25 has actually, his first shot hit my gun and took that out. His second shot, despite the angle that I've given him, he's penetrated me on the side. That's the angle I'm giving him. Possibly should have angled more, used the wall a little bit. I've hit him a couple of times. Not too concerned about the Panzer III, as he's just, or 3-4, he's just been taken out by our KV1. Watching out for that other T25, but he's been taken out. Now I'm free. I know that my flank will be watched if I head over this way. That's when I've seen coming up the main thoroughfare, the main boulevard, we have 2 heavies. There's a Churchill and a KV1. Now I was just taking out the cover there. There was a car in the way, just in case they come around that corner, which they like to do. A little bit concerned about the, well, it's only a Panzer 2G down there. Yeah, they're not down there. They're down here. So I come around here and I'm using... Oh, starting to get hit by something. Oh, and there's the Churchill. And we get a shot on him. Using the rubble just to the side here as cover. Yeah, giving him a fairly decent angle on my side. We got a couple of good shots in on that Churchill. We do have the top gun in this replay. Can't hit that. That's a KV1. Can't hit him. But I want to. And they are firing at us, the KV1. We've ricocheted the Churchill and the KV1. They've both ricocheted shots off us. They don't seem to be able to penetrate us from here. Have a look at all these ricochets off the turret. That's most likely little hands are right out there. Now finally I've got a shot on the KV1 and we take him out. They've knocked down our track, but they've still done no damage. So I want to know what it is, what light tank it is that's firing at me all the way up the end there, and there we go. We've just found out it's a Panzer 3.8. He can't do any damage to me, but he's still wasting shots. A little bit concerned about the Matilda to my side, which is why I was turning to have a look just then. But our KV1, I notice, is taking care of him. That's when I see, yep, he's fine. Our KV1 has got a shot on the Churchill. Oh, hang on. Get a shot. No, missed. Alright. Another shot. No. Alright, that was a wasted shot. But we do have a T-34 down the end there. And the Churchill. Our KV has taken a shot. Should I go? They're worried about the KV, not me. Alright, so I'm gonna decide to go this time. But get a shot. If I stop to take a shot, take out the car instead, then I get to hit him and do a decent amount of damage to him. I don't reload in time to get another shot on him. I'll try a bit of a blind shot on him just here. And not accurate enough. And whoa, our KV1 is only on 7%. He rams that Churchill on 3% to death. But he's facing down the T-14, the last heavy tank on the enemy. So we're going to come around here and we're going to try and take fire from that T-24 and fire on the move. Miss a few, get a few. I probably could angle a little bit better. We have taken a little bit of damage. Maybe angle the other way so he doesn't have any shot. But we've managed to save our KV1. And we've got him down to 10%. Was going to ram him. But the reload on this gun is actually not too bad. Now that little Panzer 3.8, he's trying to cap. What an absolute turnip head. Again. So I'm going to go in there and see if I can't kill him. Alright, going to take a shot and miss. Okay, well, we're going to take another shot and we don't wait for it to aim. Miss. That's when I see the T-34 behind me. And he's firing at me. But I don't really care because I know I've got plenty of health. I can take a few shots. And I did take a bit of a hit there. In the rear armour. There is no rear armour. Turn around. I'm not going to bother chasing that Panzer 3.8. He's just going to run in circles around me. So there's the T-34. He has a bit of cover. I missed that shot. Bit of cover hiding behind the T-14. Don't miss that shot. And that's my third kill. Now we're going to go around here, see if we can't cut off that Panzer 3.8. Heading into the cap circle, we get a few cap points. KV1 doesn't want us to cap though. And he's come around trying to get us in the rear. Not realising I've turned around. A couple of good shots on him. And the KV1 gets the kill and the Top Gunner out of it. So he took a hit for me early in the game. He also got the Top Gun out of it. So not a bad game played by him as well. So let's go have a look at the battle screen. Alright, and there's the battle results right there. Not too bad. Not the best game I've had in this tank, but it's pretty damn close to it. Alright, we got cool-headed, survive at least 10 ricochets and non-penetrations in a row. Yeah, I think we definitely earned that one. Wait till you see how many shots I actually received. Steel wall. Now you're going to get a hell of a lot of steel walls in this tank if you angle your tank. If you angle it right, despite having no side armour, you will get steel walls. This here is my Mastery Badge First Class, so I've still got the Ace tanker to go. But still quite happy with this being my first heavy tank and my first Mastery Badge First Class in a heavy tank. So I'll take it. And we also got Master Gunner. Score at least 5 armor penetrating hits in a row. Now, a little bit surprising for me, because I don't get many of these. Even in my Hellcat I get very few of these. But we've done alright this time, considering. We'll have a look. We've actually topped for damage on our team. Topped for damage in the entire game. So we didn't do too poorly. What's that Matilda down there? Cool-headed. Oh, cool-headed survived 10 penetrations. There you go. Matilda's quite troll as well, so they do get quite a few cool-headed. But anyway, back to my stats, the important ones. Yep, 3 kills, almost 1800 damage, 1062 experience. When I was playing this game, XVM, my mods, they weren't actually working, so I had no idea what damage I had done. But quite a lot. Quite a lot. This KV1 driver here, also a great heavy tank driver, really did lead, if you ask me, and showed the way. Deserved that Top Gun. Even if they didn't get the top damage, they did do a lot of work. If we look at a little bit more detail, there you go. Potential damage received over 3,000. 3,029. This tank has 660 hit points. 5 times, not quite 5 times, but getting close to 5 times the hit points of the tank. We sure as hell didn't take that much damage. Hits received 70. Yes, that's right. 70 hits received, 7 penetrations. And most of those, no damage. We fired 30 shots and only 19 hit. Again, that's probably more me being me. The tank isn't the most accurate out there, but yeah, well, we did get ourselves a what was it? Master Gunner, yeah, Master Gunner, 5 armor penetrating hits in a row. So we didn't do too bad with the accuracy. That's at one point. 17 of those 19 penetrated. So despite this gun being more a medium gun, it still can hold its own at tier. Now we did use up a fair amount of cash with our resupply and with our repairs, but we still made over 30,000. We would have made 18,000 without the premium account, which is still nothing to sneeze at. That's quite decent. Thankfully no damage caused to allies, which I tend to do quite a lot in this tank. Experience 1593, actually 1062. There is currently a few missions going on. This mission here, Victory, is sweet. If you get 24 kills, you get 1 day of premium account. So that hasn't added anything to the experience or the cash pool, but the maximum carnage has added. Yep, this one here, 750 points of damage and destroyed at least 3 enemy vehicles, and you get experience times 2. So yeah, there is that in there as well as the 2 times for the day. 4,779 would be 3,717 without premium. Still fairly decent. So yeah, that's a look at this replay. Quite surprising. Done quite alright, and you know what? I think I might actually keep this tank. We'll see how we go once we get our M6. I had to think what it was called then. M6, that's a hard one to remember. I may like that one more and keep it, but you know what? I'm actually enjoying this tank, surprisingly. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you next episode. Bye-bye.